Hey everyone. Hello. The AC is always ACing, so sometimes the sound is not the best. But hello. Hello, and how are you? I'm fine. I'm fine. And I hope that you are too. Hey, nice weather today. It's like 70 something degrees. It's not hot and it's definitely not cold. It's like a nice warm day. A little breeze in the air. But it's good. It's very, very good. I went to a movie today. Before we get started into today's topic, today's live. Today is Saturday, October 12th, 2024, and it is 5:56 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm in the USA Midwest in the state of Ohio, and it's a lovely day so far. Lovely day. Lovely day. But yeah, I was out today. I went to see a movie called Speak No Evil. It was a good movie. It was very suspenseful. Like I went with some people, and we were the only ones in the movie theater. So it was just all three of us in the movie theater, just us. I don't. It was really weird, but we went like early, so matinee, but nobody else. So it was really cool because we got to talk if we wanted to. We got to shout at the screen if we wanted to. It was a good movie. So out of 5 stars, I would give the movie a 4. I feel like it was missing something. I can't put my finger on it, but I would give it a 4 stars. I recommend it. See No Evil in theaters now. And we also went out to eat, so it was a good time. But See No Evil is about. I'm not gonna try to give it away, but See No Evil is about. Lame Smith says hi, Lame. How are you? Where are you in the world? But yeah, See No Evil, the movie, it was about a family that was, I guess, living abroad, and they met another family living abroad, or they thought it was another family living abroad, and they got all like, cool, and like, hey, why don't you just hang out? So they started hanging out, and they realized these people that they're hanging out with are weird, creepy, strange, and scary. Um, yeah, like it was so many red flags, and people still kept hanging out with them. Greenwater Play says, "Hi guys, hi Greenway." John Kirkpatrick says the trees white pines. That's what you call them. Thank you. I didn't know that. Lame is in Florida. How are you doing in Florida? I know that the what is it? Hurricane Milton. How are you? Did you have to evacuate? Are you safe? King of Drip 6607 says you are the first person I'm asking this out of 100. Kamala or Trump? If I had to choose, if I had a gun to my head, I would choose Kamala. Les Let's be honest. 909 says, "Is that a golf course?" You're right. That is a golf course. You're very smart, very intuitive. Like not intuitive. You're good. You must be a golfer. That is a golf course. Brenda Darley says hi. Hi, Brenda. Greenwater Play G says I liked and stuff. Thank you so much. Yeah, if you're in the live, please give it a like and subscribe. I make videos about survivor stories, and I like to go live every day now talking about random topics, and it's always relating to like being a trauma survivor, and just topics that's related to it. So today's topic is, what is your biggest fear? What is your biggest fear? Leave a comment. So my biggest fear used to be like the dark. Like when I was a kid, I used to be afraid of the dark. Like really, really afraid of the dark because the adults in my life didn't think that. I guess they assumed that kids were okay in the dark. They used to leave me completely pitch black in the dark. And then I was abused as a child, so I used to have nightmares and just so it just from being like abused and then being left in the dark and not being comforted. I developed a very big fear for the dark. So it took me years to. Camden says I reported you. Reported me for what? I'm not sure what you're talking about. So yeah, I used to have a really big fear for the dark. Like it took me years to be somewhat okay with the dark. And now I see some beauty in the dark, but I low-key still have a little bit of fear for the dark. Harold Betterson says I reported her too. Report me for what, guys? What are you talking about? What are you guys talking about? What is to report? I'm really confused. Anyway, so you guys, what are your biggest fears? So so the dark was my biggest fear, and then also death, because I was raised in the church, raised Christian, and they always taught you like, oh, if you don't do the right things, you're gonna go to hell and burn forever. So just having anxiety and stuff like that due to trauma, I had a fear of death. So I would say overall, my biggest fear probably right now is death. Harold, Harold Betterson says, don't do it. Things will get better. Don't do what? I'm not doing anything, guys. What are you talking about? Are you guys okay, Camden and Harold? So death is my biggest fear. Right now, I'm a mom, so only the main reason why I have a fear of death is because I don't want to leave my children behind. Like, I want to make sure that they're okay before I leave this earth. So that is probably my biggest fear right now is death. Death is so mysterious. Like, some people obviously choose to take their lives, unfortunately, so they kind of know when they're gonna die. But for those of us who are trying to stick it out and survive and go through life, you don't know when you're gonna die. You don't know how you're gonna die. So it is very scary. Death is very mysterious. Like, no one can tell you what happens. People can say, oh, I had a near-death experience, or I heard this, I believe that, but no one knows for sure what happens when you die. Like, people... Okay, here, you're doing too much right now. You're really doing too much. Let me see. Yeah, if you guys are gonna be like really inappropriate in the comments, like saying weird stuff, you're gonna be put in timeout, and if you keep doing it again after the timeout, you'll be removed from my page. I'm not down for the BS on this page, guys. Please, let's stay on topic or leave the chat. I know there's a lot of chats you can join, and I appreciate if you join mine. Pastor Dean says, hello, y'all. What it do? Hi, Pastor Dean. How are you? I just lost my train of thought. But yeah, like I said, my biggest fear is death. Because it's really mysterious. You don't know how or when you're gonna die. So I just want to make sure that my children are good. Like, the best thing you could do, I guess, is to prepare for death. You know, like having your finances together, I guess, as much as you can. Having a will. Just having things in writing secure. But it's still scary. Like, no matter how you put things in writing or how much you think you plan for death, it's so unexpected when it happens. You just don't know. So you really do have to live life to the fullest. And I do try my best to live life to the fullest, because you just never know. And I'm really thankful to be living. I'm 41 years old. Some people haven't made it half this time, you know. So don't be afraid of your age. Don't be afraid to tell your age, because it's something to be thankful for. Many people did not make it to be your age. Pastor Dean said all is well. I'm glad all is well with you, Pastor. Let me see. Do not disturb for about an hour. Yeah. I'm glad you are well, Pastor. So what kind of pastor are you? Do you post videos on YouTube about your church and stuff like that? I'm not religious, Pastor. I would call myself a agnostic atheist. I respect everybody's religion as long as you're respectful for mine. As long as you're treating people right, you can believe whatever you want to believe in. I don't believe in hating people for no reason. I don't believe in hating people for things they can't control, like their skin color, their hair, you know, stuff like that. Like, leave people alone. If you're not a happy person, leave people alone. Don't use religion as an excuse to be abusive and hateful to other people. Pastor Dean says, I'm just a born-again, Bible-believing, covered by the blood of Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Okay, Pastor Dean, I was raised in the church until I was like probably my late teens. I was raised Pentecostal. I didn't like my experience because it was like something that was forced on me. I didn't enjoy going to church. It was like a force. And as a trauma survivor, I went through a lot of stuff, and it was like a lot of hypocrites that I lived around. Like, they would abuse you, but then it was like, let's go to church and thank Jesus for this and thank the Lord for this, but then you're not living right. So when you live around a lot of hypocrites, it's hard to really be a believer. But even so, a lot of stuff I've seen in the Bible, I'm just not, really feeling it. I never read the Bible like front to end anyway. I only skim through. I literally only scripture I know by heart is Jesus wept. As much as I went to church, you would think I know the Bible back to front, but I don't. Brenda Darnley says, "My biggest fear is that my children don't succeed in their lives." I can feel that, Brenda. Hopefully they will do well. Hopefully they will. I mean, as long as you try your best to set them up for success, you know what I'm saying? And you can even, and if they don't succeed, it's like if you know you did the best you could, that's all you can do, right? Like, like when somebody was in my chat the other day, Christina, she was saying you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. As long as you know that you have done your best to set your children on the right path, that's all you can do. But yeah, my fear, like I said, is death, and it has to do with my children mainly. Like it's scary to think to leave your child on this earth without you to fend for themselves. I just want to make sure that they make it into adulthood and that they're gonna be okay. Oop, oop. Pardon me. Thank you for sharing, Brenda. I think your children will be fine, okay? But hopefully you feel better about it soon. Like Forrest Gump said, life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get. You just don't know what life, you know. I think we put too much focus on what society says we're supposed to be doing. So then we measure ourselves up to what everybody else is doing. So if we're not doing what Susie's doing or Sam is doing, we feel like we're a failure. But you got to do what makes you happy. Like to me, success is mental stability. Success is emotional maturity. And I think society has made us feel like money and riches and monetary and tangible, materialistic things is what makes you happy, but that's not what makes you happy, in my opinion. Brenda Darnley says, "My son's going to be a welder. My daughter is working at a aerospace technician." That's awesome, Brenda. You are already doing a good job. That's very good careers. You're already doing a good job, so I feel like your children will be fine. Welding is cool. That's a hands-on job. That's a trade. You know what I'm saying? He will have work with that. Hopefully my son chooses to do what he loves and also like something else as a backup, something that he could use his hands with and help people with, because you just never know. It's really good to have a backup plan. It really is to have a backup plan. Brenda Darnley says, "I try my hardest." And I think you're doing great so far. And I don't even know you. From what you're telling me right now, you're doing a good job as a mom. I feel like as a mom, we tend to doubt ourselves so much, but I feel like we're doing really good. The fact that you're even concerned about your children and how you're doing, how they're doing, lets me know that you're a good mom. Like, bad moms don't care. Like, they just like whatever. They just go with the flow and don't care. You actually care about your children, so that's good. Anybody else want to share their biggest fear? Pastor Dean, what is your biggest fear? Brenda says, "That means so much." No problem, Brenda. And is that your dog in the picture, in the profile picture? Is that your dog? What kind of dog is that? I'm like, one of my fears too, y'all. When I was a kid, I had a fear of dogs. Like, I used to be to this day, I really am not a big fan of dogs. I'm okay with smaller dogs, but like big dogs, like, really dangerous dogs, I'm gonna have a fear of. Like dogs like pit bulls and Rottweilers and whatever dangerous dogs you could add to that list. I have a fear of those dogs. I want nothing to do with them. If I see them, I'm walking across the street, you know. So I just avoid them. Brenda says, "Yes, he was a boxer." Oh, he was, so he's not here anymore? Aww, that's a cute dog. They're not considered dangerous dogs, are they? They're like friendly dogs. I'm more of a cat person. I've never owned a cat, but I'm like, I think I have more of a cat personality, and I would get a fat cat in the near future. I just don't know what kind or when I'll get it. I just got to make sure I have everything in place to safeguard, my furniture and make sure they're not peeing and pooping everywhere. That's my only thing. And, pets are an expense. They're family members. You got to make sure you have the right kind of insurance and stuff like that. Brenda says, "Nope. He lived till 11 years old. He was the sweetest. I have 2 cats now." Oh, Brenda. Well, at least you have two cats. I'm looking forward to experiencing the life of being a cat mom one day. Hopefully it happens. My Rats Atayu says, "Where is it, place?" This is just the back part of where I live. This is Ohio. I love trees, so I don't mind showing you guys the trees. I'm just like a fan of trees. You see the birds? If I could choose to be any kind of plant, I would just be a tree. Where are you, Myra? Are you in India? I feel like I've seen your name in here before. Brenda is in Pennsylvania. Okay, I've been there before. Pennsylvania is so big. Like when you're going on a road trip and trying to drive through Pennsylvania, it takes hours and hours to get through Pennsylvania. I'm not really a big fan of driving through Pennsylvania. So like, can we get, like, are we there yet? But the mountains are really big and nice in Pennsylvania. I'm always worried that the rocks will come like flying down on my car. But it never happens. But I know it can happen. My rat says, I am from Turkmenistan. Turkmenistan. Where is that? Where is that near? Because I honestly don't know where that is. Where is that near? Something that I would know. Something familiar. My rat, where is that near? I'm not the best with geography. My rat, do you have a big fear? That's a topic for today. What's your biggest fear? Let me know, my rats. Am I saying it right? It looks like my rat. Is it my rats or my rat? Atayu or Adayu. I'm big on trying to say people's names right because I hate when, if somebody says my name wrong. So if I'm saying your name wrong, please let me know. My rat says, you don't know Turkmenistan? No, I do not know, so I'm asking you. It's not a really common place that I've heard of. See, somebody else is asking you, where is that? Where is Turkmenistan? I can't pronounce your name, person. You have a cat as your profile picture? Yeah, I don't know where that is. I'm trying to ask my rat, where is that? Can you tell me where is that near them? Okay, thank you. See, I know where Afghanistan is. Alicia Luli says Turkmenistan is near Afghanistan. Thank you so much because I had no idea. See, I know where Afghanistan is. Who doesn't know? But I've honestly never heard of Turkmenistan. Never. First time. First time. Okay, how do you say your name? Because I can't pronounce your profile name. What is that? I can't pronounce it, but you said you're from Greece. Greece is a beautiful country, and I would love to visit one day. That's on my bucket list. Beautiful country. When I saw the movie The Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants, I was like, I have to go to Greece one day. Beautiful. So that's hopefully like in the next, I don't know, 5 years I can go. You said it's Skipper Skippy says Uzbekistan is near Afghanistan. No, but they didn't say they're from Uzbekistan. They said they're from Turkmenistan. Myra said it's near Iran. Okay, well I know where those are. And you're saying Sotris. I wish I had my other phone on me so I can like Google stuff, but I don't. So I'm relying on you guys to tell me. Skipper Skippy says, I'm just saying. Oh, okay, thank you. Person with the profile picture is a cat, and you as a cat, I really can't pronounce your name. So you're saying it's Sodatris? Because it's like a whole different language. I don't know what that is. I cannot read that. No disrespect. No disrespect. Like I said, it's such a lovely day. What's the weather where you guys are? You guys having a good day? What time is it? It's 6:16 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here. What time is it where you are? And what's the weather? Pastor Dean says Matthew 10:28, and do not fear those who kill the body but cannot kill the soul. Rather fear him who can destroy both soul and body in hell. So who is that, Pastor Dean? Who can destroy both soul and body in hell? So are you saying humans? We shouldn't fear humans, right? Because humans can kill the body, but they can't kill the soul. So is it God or Jesus or the devil that destroys your soul and body in hell? Who's that? What's the answer to that, Pastor Dean? Yeah, you shouldn't fear humans. You shouldn't fear man, but humans can be very scary. So it's like, it's understandable why you would fear humans, but you really shouldn't. Because, they're invincible too. But some people are really mentally disturbed that they don't care. They have no fear. So that's why they're scary. People who have no fear are scary, period. Or you can kind of respect them at the same time. But I'm talking about the ones who are like, they have no fear and they don't care about the consequences of their actions. Skippy says, can a soul be killed? That's a good question. Pastor Dean, can a soul be killed? According to Christians, probably no. Pastor Dean said Jesus Christ of Nazareth. Okay, so Jesus Christ of Nazareth can destroy both the soul and body. But why does he need to do that, Pastor Dean? Why does he need to do that? If he loves you so much, why do you need to go to hell? Why isn't he forever forgiving? Why is it his way or hell? You know what I'm trying to say? If I love somebody, I don't want to kill them. That's not love. That's not love to me. It's giving, I don't know, Pastor. That's not what I consider love. I mean, dying is bad enough. You're going to go to hell too? Whew. That doesn't sound very merciful. Alicia Luli says, I don't think a soul can be killed since God owns it. Pastor Dean says sin. Yeah, have you guys seen that movie? I think it's called Soul. And they were talking about how, yeah, you die, your body is gone, but then your soul is like living in another place, trying to get back to the body or something like. I forgot how the movie Soul goes, but it's basically about your soul when you die, it leaves your body and it's like in a whole nother place. And it's just like, I guess, trying to find where it needs to go. I need to watch that movie again. Have you guys seen the movie Soul? It's an animated movie. I think it's a Disney movie. I can't remember. Alicia says, soul is a part of God, I think. Okay, I think I already read that. Or I didn't read that. Yeah, Alicia Luli says, a soul is part of God, I think. It's, I'm the whole soul idea is really, I get what a soul is, but people say that when you die, your body is gone, but your soul is still going to be here. But where does a soul go? Is that what you call ghosts? Pastor Dean, is our soul just going to turn into a so-called ghost if it hasn't resolved it hasn't resolved the issues that it had on earth? Do you just go around until you find peace within your soul, and that's when you finally rest in peace? That's my question to you, Pastor Dean. Pastor Dean, what is your biggest fear? What is your fear? Well, you know what? You just said you fear nothing. You don't fear anything. But do you have any fears? Do you fear Jesus Christ of Nazareth, Pastor Dean? Skippy says a soul can probably be punished. I don't. But if it's, I guess a soul. I guess maybe. Alicia Luli says, I really think that's a great question. Yeah, Alicia. I'm waiting for Pastor Dean to answer some questions. We got a pastor in the house, so we got to listen up, right? I don't, it's a lot to research, but like I said, it's so many things that's unknown. People tell us what they think or what they read or who wrote this book, who wrote that book, but you really don't know. No one has died and come back. I mean, if you believe in Jesus, yeah, you believe him, but I've never met that man. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know anyone personally that has died and come back to life and say, hey, this is what happened. This is what's going to happen. This is what you should know. This is what you prepare. It's hearsay. It's hearsay what happens. It's all theories and stuff like that. But Skipper Skippy, how do you feel like the soul could be punished? In what ways do you feel like the soul can be punished? I'm drinking water. You guys stay hydrated. It's very important to stay hydrated. I'm sipping on some water. Pastor Dean says, every man and woman has an appointed day to die. Your body will stay here and your soul will carry on. It'll either be an eternity in paradise with Christ Almighty or hellfire for eternity. Okay. But how does our body live here forever when we decompose? We're going to turn into dust. Skipper Skippy says, you think that when body dies and soul goes somewhere else, like a different dimension or planet? Yes, Skipper, that's what I think. I feel like the body does die and our soul does go somewhere else. It is out there in the space. I don't know, just floating. I feel like when we were born, our soul was floating until we found a host body. And then it's going to be like out there again. That's how that's my only, that's the only thing I kind of believe. I don't know for sure, obviously. Alicia Lully says, the part in most monastic religions where a soul gets punished or destroyed is the part that actually keeps me personally away from those religions. Okay, I respect that, Alicia. Yeah, I don't understand the whole soul being punished or destroyed. Like, dang, like we can't have nothing. The body, is already, it goes through a lot. And like I said, the body is flesh, so it's easy to destroy that part. But I thought the soul would have been something that's invincible or untouchable. Pastor Dean, please answer my question. What is your biggest fear in life? Not what you read in the Bible, what you believe in your heart. What is your biggest fear when you think about it? I see it looks like you have a family in your photo. Do you have any fears of losing your family or losing yourself? I've never heard a pastor tell me a fear. Like, I don't talk to pastors. I've had a pastor when I used to go to church, when I used to go to Pentecostal church, and they just talked all big and mighty like they didn't have any fears, but I'm sure every man, I think, has a fear. you know if you have a gun in your home to protect you from intruders, you have a fear. If you lock your doors, you have a fear. I just feel like people try to be strong, but I feel like we have a fear, even if we don't speak about it. I think it's natural to be afraid or have fear. I think there's a reason for everything. There's a reason why you have a certain type of fear. Like I said, my biggest fear is death and just leaving my children behind to fend for themselves and not have me there with them to support them as much as I can. But I just want to make sure that before I go that they're going to be okay. I would rest assured. I feel like my soul would be at peace, I feel, if I know my children are going to be okay. I feel like any good parent is going to think about their children to make sure, like, you want to know that they're going to be okay when you're not around. Because unfortunately, we can't live forever. Neither will they. Pastor Dean, where are you? You got quiet. I guess my question wasn't, I don't know. It's whatever. Welcome to the live, everyone. Please give this live a like. And the question of the day is, what is your biggest fear? Leave a comment in the chats. Let me know. Just let me know. I'm trying my best to stay hydrated because I am not trying to get sick or anything. Pastor Dean says, my biggest fear would be my children not accepting the blood of Jesus Christ so that they can be so that they can stand holy on the day of judgment because of what he did on the cross at Calvary. You are really a pastor, Pastor Dean. You definitely type like a pastor. So I should have expected that answer. Okay. I get it. I get it. But what if your children don't want to accept them? Do you still love them? If your children said, no, Dad, I do not accept Jesus Christ into my heart, what will you say to them? How will you treat them? Will you still love them? You know, even if they never change your mind? Will you banish them from your life forever? Skipper Skippy says punishment could be being reincarnated back on earth until we get it right. Skipper Skippy. I have heard that. I've heard that a lot. And I honestly kind of like believe that because I feel like a lot of people who haven't learned their lesson, like you got a lot of people who are bad. Like, let's give an example. A serial killer, kill all these people. They're given the death penalty and they die. You know, it would make sense for them to be reincarnated to learn their lesson to do right. Because what they were doing on earth wasn't okay. Like, a serial killer could be like, well, my parents abused me when I was a kid and this happened to me and I have a brain damage, whatever. And that's why I did what I did. But you have to unlearn those babies. You have to know those babies are not normal. But some people have really serious mental health issues that they need, you know, psychiatric help. And they're not going to be able to, like, get help on their own. But you have to reach out. It's complicated. You know what I'm saying? It's very complicated. But there's a lot of people on earth who do really bad things. And they have not learned their lessons. And they may never learn. So Skipper Skippy, I can see why some people keep repeating cycles or coming back reincarnated to learn a lesson. I feel like it's a sad thing to leave this earth or keep coming back and you're not learning. You're like wasting time, like defeating the purpose. I don't know. I don't think life is shifted where life is supposed to be, you know? Life is supposed to be way more peaceful than what we have created, in my opinion. Hunter Wells said, what are you doing right now? Hi, Hunter. I'm just on live talking to you all. And the topic of today is, what is your biggest fear? And I was sharing that when I was little, my biggest fear was the dark. Then that grew into, I also had a fear for dogs. But my biggest fear right now as an adult is the fear of death. And I've used to have fear of death too as a kid, but it's fear of death. I don't want to leave my children behind when they're young. Like I want to know that they're okay. So just fear of being not here with my children. I will say that's my biggest fear. Like they're the main people that I care about, you know? Hunter Wells said hi. Hi, Hunter. Hunter Wells says, how old are your kids? I have a 13-year-old and an 8-year-old. So they have a ways to go. Like my 13-year-old is 5 more years before she turns 18. And 10 more years for my 8-year-old. So, you know, a lot can happen in that time. And I just hope that they're going to be okay. And I feel like they will be okay. But as a parent, you know, you still worry, even though you shouldn't worry. If you're doing the best you can, you're setting your children up as much as you can. You're talking to them, even if you feel like they're not listening, just give them the best advice you can. Live to be a good role model for them. You can't just tell them what to do and you're not doing it yourself. So you have to practice what you preach as a parent. And I think that's how you can ensure that your children will be okay, and also surround them and yourself with positive people. Hunter Wells says they are going to turn out A-okay. Thank you so much, Hunter Wells. Pastor Dean says, I've had it said right to my face by my 13-year-old, and I totally get it and understand. Okay, Pastor, so you get it. All right. So we both have 13-year-olds. Yeah. Well, at least you're willing to listen to your children, accept what they say, and not, you know, not love them. Because there's some pastors, like if you guys ever seen the movie The Color Purple, you know, when Suge Avery, you know, left the church and she started to live a loose life, or a what's the word I'm looking for? Like a sinner's life, whatever they call it. Her father turned his back on her. He basically, you know, denounced her as his daughter and stopped talking to her. And then years and years later, when she was an adult, he saw her singing, in the church, and he finally hugged her, and she said, sinners have soul too, Daddy. And it's like, how can you do that to your child because they don't believe in your religion or they're living a life? Look at yourself. If your child is on a path that you didn't want them on, maybe you need to look deep into yourself as a parent. And I know that parents, it's only so much you can do. I know that you can probably do your best and your child still does something that you don't like, but you can't completely turn your back on your children. The only way I would turn my back on my child is if they're like a child molester or like a murderer. Other than that, I'm going to still love my children. And I'm not going to turn my back on them. So I feel like the first person that's supposed to teach children unconditional love is our parents. So if you denounce me or you turn your back on me because I don't believe something that you believe, then you don't know what love is. And that's why some people turn to other people and things for love, because their parents turned their back on them. We learn so much from our parents, and people need to really take parenting more seriously. Hunter Wells says, tell them hate has 4 letters, so does love. Friends has 7 letters, and so does enemies. Go to the right route. Okay, Hunter Wells. Definitely go to the right route. I didn't even think about that. I never thought about like how much letters each one was. Pastor Dean says, not to be funny, but I'm still afraid of the dark. I just don't fear it. Okay. I need to look up the definition of afraid versus fear. Because, yeah, you can say, I'm afraid of the dark. But isn't it the same thing? How are you afraid of the dark but you don't fear it? I wish I had my dictionary in my other phone on me so I could look it up. Because I want you to make that make sense to me, Pastor Dean. How are you afraid of the dark, but you don't fear it? So, like, okay, so you're afraid of it, but then you'll still go into the dark, you're saying? So it won't stop you from going into the dark and doing what you need to do in the dark? I think that's what you're trying to say. I think. Which makes sense. But I appreciate you being honest, Pastor. There's some men, grown men, who will not say, I'm assuming that you're a man, Pastor Dean, obviously. Many men will not admit that they have a fear of anything. Like, oh, I don't fear anything. I'm brave. I'm strong. I'm tough. I don't fear anything, especially the dark. I don't even know if I've ever remember a guy saying that they have a fear for the dark. Most men are not going to be honest about their like true fears in life. And I think a lot of men are afraid of other men, and I feel like men in general love and respect other men more than they do women. Like, I've had a man tell me that he wouldn't take his wife's advice. He will listen to what she says, but ultimately he will confide in his friends and take their advice. So men don't really respect women, in my opinion. I feel like overall men just, use women for what they need it for breeding, for cleaning, for cooking. But overall, I don't think men truly love and respect women the way they should. They fear and love other men. They want to, hang with their buddies more than their wives sometimes. Not all men, but it's overall, I feel like men don't respect women. Pastor Dean says, also, I do not force my religion on my children. I just walk it out. And if my children want to follow the man, then I follow who is Jesus Christ. Then they're welcome to get on the straight and narrow. Okay, Pastor. Skippy says, one of my biggest fear is marriage. 70% of marriage end in divorce, and 70% of them are initiated by women. Last time I checked, Skippy, 50% of marriages end in divorce. Like 50% fail. I've never heard 70. When has that changed? I mean, I learned about that in school as well, and I've always been hearing 50. So when did it change to 70? That's a high number. Like, I don't believe it's 70, but if you think it's 70, that's fine. But where did you get that information from? David VFXX says, I respect women. C Turtles or Tuckles says yes. Skippy says 50% is too high. No, I agree. It is high. What I'm saying, 70 is basically like saying marriages don't work. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's extremely, it's like basically you almost to 100. 50 is half and half. So it could work out. It could not. With 70, it's like most likely it won't. You feel what I'm trying to say? 50% is more optimistic than 70 is what I'm saying. I don't think, unfortunately, marriage may not be in the cards for me, but I still kind of like have hope for it, even if it's 50-50. It has to be the right situation. Skipper Skippy says, I feel you. Sea Turtles or Tuckles, Sea Tuckles says, I love the view. Thank you so much. I love the hearts, the pink hearts. David VFXX says, it's high because people marry too soon. I agree. I agree. People really don't get to know each other. People marry for fairy tales. But I've learned so much about marriage from other people, from their failures. And this one attorney that made a video, I'll try to link it to this video. He made a video about how he doesn't feel like marriage works. And he says, well, he basically feels like marriage is stupid. And he says that you should always get a prenuptial agreement. It doesn't matter if you have $1 to your name or $1 million to your name. Get a prenuptial agreement, because you never know when you might come into the marriage with no money, but you might come into some money. You might have a business. Somebody might pass money down to you. To be smart, protect your money. So if I ever get married, I definitely would not mind getting a prenuptial agreement, because a lot of people, or maybe women sometimes, like, oh, I'm in love, I love him, I want to marry, I'm in love, I'm marrying for love. Marriage is a business. You can't make love the main reason why you're getting married to people. It has to make sense. Can they support you? Would they be there for you? What's in it for you? You know, what happens if they leave you? What happens if it doesn't work out? Like, it's a serious business deal, and it's a serious thing. I will never marry for love. Like, I'm gonna love you, but I'm not gonna marry you just for love. Love can't pay the bills. Love, you know, yeah. It's more to marriage and love. And this is coming from someone who's never been married, and I've seen marriages fail mostly in my life. It's not a, I've seen successful marriages, but I've also seen some very unfaithful spouses that want to look like they're so happy, but they're busy cheating with other people. So it's like, on paper they're married, but like they're really not, you know, living up to what marriage is supposed to be. But you know, people can marry for who they want to, but be prepared for the consequences. Be prepared for the fact that it might not work out. Are you okay with that? Protect your assets, protect your money, protect your everything. Before you get married, make sure you have protections in place. And I definitely will be going about it the right way if it ever happens. But if it doesn't, I'm okay with it, because, you know, my life didn't start out the way it's supposed to. So, you know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying because you started out in a negative way that you can't end positively, but I understand the odds are not in my favor. You know what I'm saying? I got to be real with it. I can think positive, but know that I got to keep it real at the same time. I'm open, but I understand. If you feel me, you feel me. I'm sure somebody understands what I'm trying to say. Hold on, you all. Give me like a minute. Thank you all for waiting. I'm back. Pastor Dean says, are you in Springfield? No, I'm not in Springfield. I think I'm like 30 minutes or something from Springfield. I don't know how far Springfield is from here. I'm from the capital of Ohio. Where are you from, Pastor? Did you say where you're from again? I must have missed it. I'm gonna try to scroll up. I apologize. Where are you from again, Pastor? It's not Pennsylvania. That was somebody else. Um, I've never been to Springfield, but I used to know someone that was from Springfield area. Sea Turtle says, "Love your lives." Thank you so much, Sea Turtles. I appreciate it. Yeah, Pastor Dean, where are you from? I really don't think you said it. What's everyone's biggest fear? That's the title of this live. I already shared mine. It used to be dark, even though I'm still a little bit weary of it. That's not my biggest fear. It also used to be dogs. I'm weary of them, but not, you know what I'm saying? And it used to be death, and it still is death. But I don't let it consume me, where I can't sleep at night. Sea Turtle says heights. Yeah, heights are scary. It is scary to be up high. Yeah, but it's not my biggest fear. But I'm like, ooh, it's so high up here. But it won't stop me, I guess, from. I mean, look, we fly airplanes, and airplanes go really high. And some people are afraid of flying, so they have to like really maybe sometimes take pills and stuff to be brave to take an airplane. But I've heard, yeah, it has been said that you have a higher chance of dying in a car crash than you do in an airplane crash, and it makes sense. Airplane crashes are actually not that common. I mean, or maybe they're underreporting, but it's more car crashes. But yeah, heights is a common fear. I I don't think I would ever like bungee jump or jump out of a plane like skydiving. I thought about it like, the inner me would love to do something like that. It seems so fun and exhilarating, but I'm too afraid of the chance of like something going wrong and you fall and you die. That's a horrible way to die. But I want to go in a hot air balloon one day, and that's really high up. And I've heard negative things about hot air balloons because it can turn out wrong. But I want to think positive. I don't know anybody personally who has went on a hot air balloon, but I've always wanted to do it. And one of these days I'm gonna do it. It's not cheap. I think it's like $200 or 300. It's like three. It's gotta be like $300. I think. Last time I checked, it's hundreds of dollars to do a hot air balloon. Correct me if I'm wrong with the price, but one day I'm gonna like really plan for it and just do it. And make sure I go with a company that has good reviews, good ratings, all the safety precautions are there. Just say I did it. I'd rather do that than skydive. The birds, look at the birds. The birds are like, what's going on here? We must be flying south, but it's so nice here. But it's still early fall. It's not gonna get real cold until like almost Halloween. I'm not looking forward to it. I never look forward to the cold. No matter how long I've lived in the cold, I'll always be I'm a summer baby. So as much as I don't like the sun too hot, I don't want to deal with the cold. I just want something in between. Anybody in the chat, give this live a like and tell me what's your biggest fear. Sea Turtle says summer is my favorite. Yeah, summer is nice. Juan Lewis says I would love to climb a mountain. It's really cool. So obviously you don't have a fear of heights, Juan. I thought about climbing a mountain before, but I think recently they said they found like a old body or corpse or something from Mount Everest or somewhere, where some mountain that's really high and that everybody's always climbing on, and their body was like, it was like a mystery for a long time. Did you hear about that, Juan? They found some body at one of those popular mountains. They found a somebody who didn't make it, and they were, obviously badly decomposed, like years, like many, many years, like decades. I don't remember how long. I'm gonna look it up. Like I said, I don't have a computer or anything in front of me to look it up. Juan Lewis says, my biggest fear is drowning in the deepest part of the ocean all alone in the night. Oh, that is scary. You know what, Juan, when I think about it, I used to have a fear of drowning. I actually almost drowned and died, y'all. I'm going to tell y'all the story. Ready? I got a story about it. Want to hear it? Here it go. So when I was about less than 10, probably, maybe let's say between 8 and 10 years old, I went on a lake trip with my brother and his girlfriend, and he was busy doing his thing, not paying attention to me, and I was swimming, thinking I was doing something. I was like, oh, look at this boat, that looks cool. So I was like, I'm gonna swim underneath the boat. So I was swimming under the boat, and I don't know how to swim with my eyes open. I didn't have goggles, so I had my eyes closed, swimming under the boat, and I thought that I had swam from underneath it. So I tried to stand up, y'all. The boat was on top of me, and I started to panic. So I would just panic, swimming as fast as I can, until I finally made it. But I was almost gonna run out of air. It was so scary. So yeah, I developed a fear of drowning. Plus, when I was a little girl, some sick, crazy person that I guess we knew tried to take me all the way deep into the ocean, and I was like so scared that I was gonna drown. So to this day, I'm not the best swimmer. And to this day, I'm not big on water that much. I love the beach and playing in it, but I'm not big on going deep and swimming and all that stuff. Juan Lewis says, how old were you? I mean, yeah, I was saying I was probably around, let's go with 9 years old. I don't remember the age, but I was young. I was no older than 10. And I think I was less than 10, to be honest with you. So between 8 and 10 years old, I had a near drowning experience, and no one, my brother didn't know. He didn't even know I was missing. He was doing his thing. Like when you look, I had to learn some lessons too. When you take children swimming, you really do need to keep an eye on them. You have to watch, even if they're the best swimmer. Like they gotta have a lifeguard, not lifeguard. They need to have a is it lifeguard? Not lifeguard on them. A life vest. They need to have on a life vest, and you need to watch them. And you should try to see if there's a lifeguard. It's scary. Something can happen so fast. There's so many people that die, so many children that die because their parents, unfortunately, may have looked away for a few seconds or however long, and the child drowned. In the movie that I saw today, uh, Speak No Evil, a boy in there was not a good swimmer. He nearly, you know what I'm saying, got into a situation. So drowning is really a big cause of death with children and people. Like some people really do have a fear of swimming. A lot of people can't swim. A lot of people cannot swim. Like they never wanted to learn because they don't want to get in the water. But learning how to swim or being able to swim is really important because you never know what could happen. You know, you could be in a plane and the plane go down. You got to swim in the ocean, or anything could happen. It's really smart that everyone knows how to swim. It's a very life changing, important skill, and I need to like make sure I'm doing better with that. I'm gonna make sure I practice some more and maybe try to take another class. I don't want like water to, prevent me from having fun. And a lot of times, if you think it's gonna happen, it might happen. Like you really got to think positive. Like I'm not gonna drown. I'm gonna be okay. I've been practicing. I know how to swim. Everything's gonna be okay. And do what's comfortable. If you know you can't swim in 10 feet water, maybe you shouldn't go in 10 feet water. Stay in the shallow end until you get ready. Alicia Lully says it was Andrew Irvin's foot they found halfway on top of the Mount Everest. It's a big deal because it could finally prove who was the actual first person ever climbing the Mount Everest all the way up. Thank you, Alicia Lully. Okay, Andrew Irvin's foot. I need to look that story up. So it's his foot. I don't know why I thought it was his whole body they found. My bad. Thanks for correcting me. I'm definitely gonna look that up later. I think Mount Everest is the biggest mountain in the world, right? Am I wrong, Alicia? If I'm not wrong, I think it's the biggest mountain. I've never climbed a mountain, and I'm not even interested in climbing a mountain. Okay, I barely want to climb stairs. Okay, Alicia Lily says you're right. Okay, okay. Thanks. I'm just not a daredevil. I've never been a risk taker. Like, yes, I've been risky. Trust and believe. I'm gonna have another live about all the risk, risk taking situations I've been into because of my trauma, and how closely it's related to like almost passive suicide. Even if you didn't think it was at the time. I want to talk about that one day. But I've never been like on purpose risk taker, but I've been like a passive risk taker. Walter Walter Wojakula says that's the one people die on all the time, I think. Yeah, and people gonna keep climbing it. Like I don't get, like, once I hear 10 people died on that mountain, I said, baby, I'll be like, I am not climbing that mountain. But some people love a challenge. They're really daredevils, risk takers, thrill seekers, that it's almost like it's a challenge. Like, oh, 20,000 people died on that mountain. Oh, I want to be next. I can do it. Like, no. I love life too much to like get involved. Like I feel like certain things humans don't want to leave something untouched. Like everything has to be touched. Everything has to be explored. Like, and that's how people sometimes end up dying, because they think they could do it. And Mother Nature's like, nope. Walter says that's, oh, you already read that one. I don't know how to pronounce your last name, Walter. Walter Wojakula. I think I said it. Is a J silent? Because I don't know how I would say that. Is it Wajsikula? Anyways, I'll just call you Walter. Okay, Walter says Wochula. Oh, thank you, Walter Wochula. That's easy. So basically, the J and the I is silent. Wochula. Got it, got it, got it. What kind of last name is that? What's the origin of that? Like, what country? I don't know. That's a different last. I've seen so many interesting last names on here. I like your last name, Walter. Polish. Cool, cool, cool. From what I know, my ancestry is German. I do want to research it more one day, but my father's side is German. But I need to do more research to know exactly all this stuff. It's so much I need to know about myself and my history and stuff like that I don't know. Oh, there's a bunny. The bunny's back again. The rabbit. You guys can't see him, but he's over to the left side. I've never been to Poland. I've never even been interested in going to Poland. So do you live in Poland, Walter, or that's where your family's from? Only thing, the closest I've ever been to Poland is drinking Poland spring water. That's just a joke, y'all. But I have drank Poland spring water. But like, I don't know where the name Poland Spring comes from. It must be somewhere in the U.S. called Poland, because I don't know. Alicia Luli says Polish chocolate is the absolute best. I need to try that, Alicia, because I think German chocolate is really good. German chocolate is really good. So I need to try Polish chocolate then. Walter Wochula says, thank you. Yes, Forbidden History is more interesting. I'm American, born in NY, grew up in, okay, Massachusetts. Cool. I've been to New York before. I've been to Mass before. I actually went to school in Massachusetts. I wouldn't live in those areas again. Didn't have good experiences, but I see why people like it, especially New York. I think I might visit New York, specifically New York City one day, so my children could see it, the Big Apple. But I've never really been too far into New York State. I've driven through it, and I've been to the border, the New York and Canada border. And I used to live in Massachusetts for a little while. I went to school and lived there. Walter Wochula says, I'm in Florida now after 30 years as adult in NY. I've noticed a lot of New Yorkers end up going to Florida. Like, that's so weird to me. Like, they go from, I guess it makes sense. You go from extreme cold to extreme hot. So that makes sense. Plus, I know Florida is a big state for retirement. Alicia says, but yeah, we have some great brands as well. Cool, Alicia. Are you in Poland right now? Not Poland right now. Obviously, you're not. You're in America. Oh, I missed that other comment, Alicia. Okay, Alicia says, actually, the German chocolate people talk about is really swished. Okay, swished. But yeah, we have some great brands as well. So you're Polish, right, Alicia? Are you saying that you're Polish as well? You said we have. Are you saying we as Americans have it? Because I think I missed what you said, girl. I apologize for that, Alicia. Okay, you are in Germany. Cool, Alicia. You're German. Okay, so we might be family. You never know. I'm just kidding. But like I said before, my family history, my father's side is German. But I don't know any of my German families. I've never explored it. Okay, cool. Do you visit your dad, Alicia? Alicia says, lived in Florida partially. Okay, so you lived in Florida partially for a while. Okay. Oh, may he rest in peace, Alicia. My condolences to your dad. He passed in 2016. That was 8 years ago. Walter Wochula says, working on roofs in Florida is no joke in summer. I'm old, but not retired old. LOL. Don't add years on me. My bad, Walter. How old are you, Walter? If you don't mind me asking. Yeah, I can only imagine what it's like working on a roof in Florida. That's suicide. Like, that's crazy to me. I could barely stand the heat in Ohio. I heard Florida heat is no joke. And I've been to Florida before. It's hot. But when I went to Florida, it was not a very hot time. It was actually like March. But it was a couple days that was still hot. So I can only imagine like when it's summer, summer, summer. And I got my first sunburn, Walter. I got my first sunburn in Florida like 3 years ago, 2, 3 years ago. My very first sunburn in life. Skin was peeling and everything. And I'm like, what? Yeah, we had went to the beach somewhere in Frentilina, somewhere, Florida. Something with an F. Frentilina, I think. A very small town. And most of the days was like kind of chilly, but then it was one day that was really sunny, and that's the day that I got sunburned. I was like, oh my gosh. And I didn't put any sunscreen on because I didn't plan on it. But I ended up putting on some, what's the thing called again? Aloe vera gel, I think. But my skin was peeling for days. I was like, this is what it's like to have sunburn? Wow. Walter says, I can tell, much older than you, 56. I always peel with a lot of sun. I'm 41, so you're not much older than me, but you're older, yeah. Yeah, aloe is best, Walter says. Walter, be thankful that you're 56. Many people didn't make it to your age. And, hopefully I can make it to 56 one day. It's a beautiful thing. I know that getting older, it could, you feel like, oh my gosh, there's so many things you didn't get a chance to do, or maybe you feel like you're close to dying. But some people live until 100 years old. You know what I'm saying? Yes, the life expectancy in certain areas is probably 60s, 70s, but I think it depends on your family and your health, mental and physical. And you can't predict life. You don't know if a natural disaster or a freak accident will happen, but just do the best you can. You look like you're doing a good job, Walter. Walter said that's a beautiful view there. Thank you. I love it so much. I love it so much, Walter. I love trees like so much. Like one of my wishes is that when I die one day, unfortunately, I want to be like turned into a tree. I don't know. I'm thinking about it. Because that is how much I love trees. I want to give back to nature. Which we all end up giving back to nature, you get buried, you decompose, become fertilizer. Yeah, connect. I love that, Walter. And grounding is so beautiful. I need to ground more. If you guys know what grounding is, obviously you probably know more than me, but grounding is like you walk outside with no shoes on. Like a lot of times we're so busy wearing shoes and socks indoors, we're not connecting with earth and nature. And there's so many, like, I heard benefits from walking on the ground for a few minutes a day at least, barefoot, to ground yourself to nature. It's supposed to be so many health benefits from what I've heard, and I don't do it enough. I really don't. I don't ground enough at all. It's really bad. Do you guys ground? If you're new to the chat, if you're just coming in, the topic of today is what your biggest fear is. If you haven't told me what your biggest fear is, let me know. Mine is death. Walter says also give attention to the animals. Yes, I love animals, Walter. I really do. I don't even eat them. If you guys eat them, that's your life. That's you. But I don't eat animals. That's how much I love them. Bill Wild Bill I'm sorry, Bill Wildman says I walk on my hands for the same reason. Really, Bill? You must be really flexible and athletic if you're not joking. I'll be right back. I'm gonna get another bottle of water. I'm back. I won't be on here for much longer, everyone. Thank you for joining the live stream. Alicia says, one of my greatest fears is that me being so anxious all the time could cause something bad for my kids one day. Alicia, I suffer from anxiety as well because of my trauma. Horrible. I recommend, try to find some natural remedies like, how you say, asawanda, like natural stuff like that. Even medical marijuana, if that's your thing. That can sometimes help with anxiety. I try to go the natural route. I don't really necessarily like prescription drugs, but if you need that, you need that. Also, breathing exercises is helpful. Deep breaths. Also, speaking to a mental health therapist, counselor to help you get through whatever fears that's making you have anxiety. I recommend that. But thanks for sharing that, Alicia. Walter says death or becoming hermit was my greatest fear. Things change though. You're right. Yeah, one of my fears is losing my mind and just basically like not being able to think, and like how some people become bedridden or in a coma. That's pretty scary. Like I don't want to. That's not no way to live. Like there's people who live on life support and stuff like that for a long time, and like I don't feel like that's a way to live. And I know that the family doesn't want to let go, but that's not really a way to live. Just to be there laying and you don't know what's going on. Walter says breathing, meditation, cannabis is good for anxiety. I agree, Walter. And also, yoga is pretty good too. Yoga is good, and I love yoga, but I don't do it enough. Like I need to make it a habit. But yes, yeah, cannabis is good. Breathing, all of that, everything you said, Walter. So Alicia, see what Walter said. Try breathing, meditation, cannabis, and yeah, for anxiety. And like I said, yoga is really good. Like you got to really calm your mind and calm your body. You know what I'm saying? And one of the things my counselor taught me is that when you're having like some type of, if you're feeling high anxiety, ask yourself this question: is there anything that's like, how does she word it? Like, what evidence do I have that something is going to go wrong? Like we're always afraid and anxious about something. Do we have any evidence that something's going to wrong? If there's no evidence that anything is going to go wrong, if you don't have any evidence that you're going to die right now, then you're going to be okay. So just like, don't let anything that doesn't have any concrete evidence scare you. Like, if you don't, a lot of it is just in our head, is what I'm trying to say. Yeah, Alicia says breathing does help a lot. Yes. Like, a lot of times we're not breathing. We're like, we're walking around like this. We don't really take the time to and breathe. Like, a lot of us don't do that. We're just here existing and not actually breathing. We're not living. We're here, but we're not living. Alicia says also CBD, but I'm pregnant right now. Oh my gosh. Okay. Congratulations, Alicia. Congratulations. Walter says yes, exactly. Walter says 100. Yeah. You know, life is not easy, man. It's not. It's not. You know, no one can really say life is easy. Anybody who says life is easy, I don't know what's going on with you. But life is easy, not easy, but it's, you got to like learn tools to get through each challenge. And I struggle with that too. I struggle with certain things in life. No matter how old you are, it's a challenge. It could be challenging. Walter says congrats on your pregnancy. Yes, congratulations to you, Alicia. Is this your first pregnancy? I'm not sure if you said you had any other kids. Is this your first? Alicia says, thank you, Walter. Yeah, that was nice of you, Walter. Oh, it's your third. Okay. Okay. So do you have boy and a girl now, or two boys, two girls? And if you don't want to, you don't have to share what you're expecting. It's up to you. I have a boy and I have a girl. So, as they say, the best of both worlds. I don't know. You know, there's some families that only have girls, they only have boys, and some people have a mixture. It's nice when someone has been having boys or they have been having girls, they finally have another sex. So if you had all girls and you finally have a boy, that's awesome. If you always had boys and finally have a girl, you know, either one. Alicia says, I have two girls, 17 and 8. Now we're having a boy. Wow, Alicia, that's so cool. Your 17-year-old will be able to babysit your the boy. Because, you know, your child is so much older now. They'll be like a good babysitter. If they want to. Obviously, you can't force your children to be babysitters. But that's a big gap. I know you're, you know, some kids are like, they'll be like, you're pregnant? A baby? I remember when I was like 9 and my mother was pregnant, I was like, aren't you too old for to be pregnant? You know how kids are. When we're young, our parents look like ancient things to us. Like, you know, we don't realize that they can still be sexual and have babies. They're still looking to live their lives. You know, but you know how we are. We could be like, ew. Look at the moon. I don't know if you guys could see it. I'm going to try to move it over there. I'm going to try to zoom in. The moon is trying to peek. I see the moon. Hold on. I'm waiting for this to change. I'm 34. That works out pretty much. Yeah, you're still young, Alicia. You're young. The camera's not moving. I don't know what's going on. I was trying to show you all the moon, but for some reason the screen is not moving. It's like frozen. I think the screen is frozen, you all. I think it's frozen. Yeah, nothing's moving. Huh, that's strange. Walter says, that's great. Be proud of yourselves for bringing kids into the world. Wishing you all health, happiness, and success. Yes, Walter. It's not easy being a parent, especially a mom. You know, you're the one that's carrying the child. You have a big responsibility on your shoulders, you know, for their health and safety and well-being. I don't know why my camera is not moving, y'all. It's like frozen on this spot right here. You got a blank screen? Okay, I don't know what's going on, you all. Yeah, I apologize. I'm going to get off live now because something is going on. I'm moving my camera around and it's not moving. It's not changing. So it's frozen. Thank you all who joined the live stream. If you joined in the beginning, the middle, or the end, I really appreciate you. Thank you, Alicia. Alicia says, you're so sweet, Walter. Thank you, Alicia, for joining the live, and congratulations on your baby your baby that's going to be here soon. Thank you, Walter. You said a great live. Thank you to everyone for your contribution to my live. I really, if you aren't subscribed, please subscribe and support my channel. And I hope you have a good evening. I apologize for the frozen screen, the blank screen, whatever you're seeing right now. I don't know what happened. Technical difficulties. So I guess just a net message to let me know it's time to get off live. All right. You guys, yes, Alicia says take care, guys. Thank you, Alicia. You too. Be safe out there. You and Walter and everyone else. All right. Have a good one.